Hello and welcome to another video. And this one we're going to look at something which comes up quite often on the forums and on Discord, and that's how to make the font bigger in Fantasy Grounds. So there's a couple of methods that we can use, and the first and the easiest is to increase the scale of the entire UI. So if we come down to the chat window here and we type in a / and then type in scale UI, and then it needs a value. Now the standard or the default size is 100. And if we increase that number, then that will increase the size of the UI. If we decrease the number, then the UI is going to get smaller. So let's go with 150. We just type in 150 and then we press return, and you can see that immediately the scale of the whole thing has gotten bigger. If we open up the player's handbook here, we can see that the whole thing is bigger, and the text is more readable. Now, the problem with this method is, of course, that you reduce considerably the amount of screen space that everything takes up. You can see this, the player's handbook here, the reference manual is taking up virtually the whole of my screen. And so unless you've got a really big screen, then this is not really the ideal solution. If we put this back down to 100, then we can see that we obviously increase our screen space, etc. And we can get more in here. So scaling the entire UI is not greatly ideal. The reason why scale UI is kind of needed is because if we look at things like the character sheet here, all of the text in these boxes is scaled to fit the size of the box. So if we just increase the size of the font here, then it's likely that it's not going to be able to fit into the box. And so it kind of makes these things unreadable. So that's why the scale UI scales everything. So it scales the size of the text and it scales the size of the box that the text is contained in, and therefore everything looks right. However, there are other methods of increasing the size of the font. There are a number of extensions which will do that, and we're going to look at that method now. So the first thing you want to do is you want to come to the Fantasy Grounds store, click on the store drop down and select the Forge here. Once that's loaded, if we just search for font, and you already see that I've already done this, but if you just type font into the search, then you will come up with a whole list of fonts that are available, and most of these will just change the actual font itself, but some of them are specifically there to increase the size of the font. And if we go to page 3 here, and these are the fonts which I would recommend that you have a look at. And you can see that I've already got this one here, the Roboto font by Maticure. And this is one that I'm going to show you how to adjust this, and we'll use this font here. So once you get to here, you just need to click on the Get button. Once you've got that, then you just need to update Fantasy Grounds, and it will download the font and install it into your extensions folder. So I've already got an instance of Fantasy Grounds, another instance here. So we're going to go to our load campaign here. We're going to select our campaign, and in the list here of extensions down here, you will find that font that you've just downloaded, the font Roboto, and we just need to select that font and then start up our instance of Fantasy Grounds, and that will load in the font. Now that we've loaded up, it shows you down here in the chat that we've got the font extension loaded in. And if we have a look at the player's handbook now, we can see that the text is a little bigger. Now, it might not be that clear, but if we move things a little bit and compare it with our original, oh, here, right, here we go. If we can compare it with our original instance of Fantasy Grounds, we can see that the font is bigger on this one than it is on the original without the extension. So if this is fine for you, if that's all that you need, then you're good to go. But if that still isn't big enough for you, if you still want it bigger, then you can edit the extension to make it bigger. And I'll show you now how to do that. So we're just going to close then this instance of Fantasy Grounds here. We're just going to return to the launcher and we're going to put that one aside. And then we're going to shut this one down. Well, no, we'll just leave this one as it is for the moment. Okay, so this is where we need to do a little bit of editing of the extension file. So we're just going to come to our Fantasy Grounds folder, and then we're going to find the extensions folder, and we're going to open that up. And then if we look down, we will find this Roboto extension here, and that's the extension that we're going to edit. So we're just going to right click this and we're going to copy it, and then we're going to find any folder anywhere on your hard drive where you don't it's not in the Fantasy Grounds thing. I'm just going to delete this out of here and I'm going to delete that one as well. And then I'm right clicking and I'm just going to paste the extension into this working folder here. I'm now going to right click on the extension and I'm going to rename it, and I'm going to change the ext to zip. It will get this warning message up. We're going to say yes to that, and this then changes the extension file to a zip file, and an extension is simply a zip file with .ext rather than .zip. Right click on that, and then we're going to select extract all. We're going to answer yes to this question, and then it's going to open up the files that are in the extension folder. So the file we're interested in is going to be inside this graphics folder here, and it's the graphics fonts XML file, and we're just going to click this to open it up. Now this should open it up in a text editor of some kind. I use Notepad++, so it automatically opens up in that, but any text editor will do. Now, this may seem daunting. You've got all sorts of code here and everything like that, but actually, the way Matacura set this up, it's actually really quite simple. So if we have a look at the top one here, it tells us in the green writing is sort of just text to give you an idea of what the code is actually doing. And it's telling us here that the formatted text field header default size is 20. And this is the formatted text fields. Now, a formatted text field is simply this. This is a formatted text field. So anything like this, any of these pages here are formatted text fields. So that's the what you're looking for. So it's telling us that the header in the reference manual here, we've got the font name, reference H, so that's the reference header. And then it's telling us what the file needs to be, what the name of the font is, and the figure here is the size. And then under that, we've got a color value. So if we look down here at the second one, it says formatted text field regular text default size. So the regular text default size is 14. So this is what we are seeing here. This is 14. And the extension here is increasing that size to 18. So that's what we saw in the other instance when we loaded up the other instance. It was showing us a text size of 18. So if you wanted that size to be bigger, then we need to change this 18 to another number. So we just need to click in here and delete the 18, and let's put it in as 24, just for fun, and we'll see how that goes. You can change all the other sizes here. This is the reference italic field. So if we wanted to make the italic the same size, we can do that. We just change this 17 to another number. We've got the bold, and italic, and we've got the reference large. So this is the reference page title of entry, visible as entry title when an entry is selected along the left panel. So you can change that as well. But we'll leave all these other values as they are, just so that we can see what the difference 24 makes compared to the other sizes within this font. Now, another thing that we can do in this extension here is we've got the chat fonts as well. So we can increase or change the chat fonts. And if we scroll down here, it says the font used for messages when speaking as an NPC and font used for messages when speaking as the GM. So these values can also be changed in this extension. And so let's just for fun, let's also change the font that you're talking as a DM, and let's change that to 24 as well. Now we can also change the color of these if you wanted to. And this one here, the color value, this is a hexadecimal code. Each of these, there's 3 pairs of zeros, and this effectively means black. 000000 is black. FF would be white. These pairs, the first 2 represents the red value, the middle pair represents the green value, and the end pair represents the yellow, red, green, blue value, the blue value. So let's just change the first 2 zeros here, and we'll just change them to FF, and that will change the red value to the maximum. So we should see that this is red text. So we've made our edits. We're now going to save this file, and then we're going to go back to our folder here, and we're going to have to zip this back up and make it an extension. Now, if we simply let's add another slight complication into this if we wanted to. You don't need to do this, but you can if you want. If we go back to the top level here and we open up this file called extension XML, and up here we've got the name of the font Roboto. So we can change this if we wanted to and call it a different name. So let's do that. Let's just change it to my font Roboto, and we're going to save that file as well. Now, as I say, you don't need to do this. You can just leave that as it is. So in this folder now, we're going to select both the graphics and the extension folders. We're going to right click, and then we're going to select compress to, and then we're going to say zip file. And this zips up the files that we've just selected, and it gives us this name. So we need to change this name here. We need to rename this. So we called it my font Roboto, and then we need to change the zip back to ext for extension, and then press return. It'll give us this warning again, and we say yes please, we do want to change that. So I now want to right click here. I want to copy this file. I want to go back to my Fantasy Grounds folder, extensions, and then I want to paste that file into my extension. And you can see that it now appears in this extension list. So if we start up another instance of Fantasy Grounds again, and if we go to our load campaign, we're unclicking the font Roboto, and then we're going to find down the bottom here my font Roboto, and we're going to select this, and then we're going to start up Fantasy Grounds. Once we've loaded in, we're going to go back to our books again, and we're going to go to our player handbook. And you can now see that the text is now much bigger than it was. If we move this one slightly off to the side, get our original back, we can see now that there is quite a difference between the default font size in this one with the font size that we have now got in our new edited font. So obviously you can go even bigger. We made this 24, so that's the difference you can see here between the default size here, which is 14, and this size here, which is 24. So you can change that and make it even bigger. Now this doesn't affect things like the characters, for example. So the characters are all going to be in the default font because we haven't changed that, and this font extension won't change this either. And the reason for that is, as I explained earlier, is that these fonts in here are tied to the boxes that they're in, and if you change the font size for these, then it just won't fit in the boxes, and it'll be unreadable. But we can change the fonts in the bigger areas where we can read. Now you can see here, if you look closely, that you've got the concept artist. That's a header. We didn't change the header value, so that's obviously still in 0.14, and this is in 24. So you can change, as I said, showed you, you can change all of these in that font file. And if we have a look in here, when we type this in, we can see that it is in a much bigger font, and it's in red text rather than the default text, which would be normally black. So that's how you can edit one of those fonts that you can find on the Forge to suit your particular needs. Now I know that this involves a bit of coding and things like that, but it's not hugely complicated. But if you're not confident doing any of that and you wanted to use a particular font, then you'll find me on Discord most days, and if you hit me up on Discord, then I can certainly edit the files for you, so that you can use them in your own campaign. So please do that if you're struggling to be able to read the text and you're looking for a way to make your text bigger, then I can certainly do that for you in Discord, if you hit me up there in Discord. You could also do it on the forums as well, but Discord is better. Probably, depending on the time of day, you'll get a more swift response. So that's how you would make the fonts bigger in Fantasy Grounds VTT. I hope you found that useful, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers for now.